There's a lot at stake on Saturday night, and there's only been a couple times in my UFC run now that I've had my back up against the wall. That was my UFC debut when I had to prove who I was, and then on a 2-fight losing streak, got lined up against Tony Ferguson, and something spectacular happened that night. So I think this kind of feels like one of those moments.
Well, Michael Chandler, always a pleasure. Thanks so much for your time on Fox.
Thanks for having me, man. UFC 314, baby. Let's go.
That's it. I can't wait. You know, you're coming off an incredible 5-round war against Charles Oliveira only a few months ago at Madison Square Garden, and here you are in another big 5-round fight. I imagine you're really stoked not only to be back and active, but to be getting the rounds in the octagon.
Yeah, you know, obviously I took a little detour called the Ultimate Fighter 31 and the Conor fight thing, you know, getting booked, falling through. Sometimes it's good to remind the fans. I came into the UFC in the first 26 months, did 6 training camps. I was the backup for the world title, and then fought 5 times. Yeah. And every single fight of the night, fight of the year candidates, debut of the year, knockout of the year. So I'm an active fighter. Just took a little time off, which was good for me, good for my heart and my soul especially. So fought in November, now fighting again in April. In 2025, we're staying busy.
How much did that November fight benefit you, Michael? Because, I mean, obviously there was a lot of discussion and speculation around the possibility of ring rust before that fight in New York. I imagine it puts you in pretty good stead coming into this fight in April. Yeah, I mean, it's good. You know, essentially I took the holidays off. You know, I had an injury in that fight, so I had to rehab a little bit and do some PT, physical therapy. And as soon as I was ready to go, the phone call came in, and, you know, I made the call, and Paddy Pimblett's name got drawn, and here we are. So I'm excited to go compete. I was just, you know, I think Paddy hasn't fought for almost a year now, maybe. That sound right? Last July, so 10 months. So I'm excited to go. Yeah. We'll speak about Paddy in just a moment, but something that you said really intrigued me. You said that there were moments in that Charles Oliveira fight that reassured you that you were a veteran. One, what were those moments? And two, is that a good thing?
Yeah, it's a good thing, and also it's a feeling that you get, right? Unless you've competed inside of the octagon, you wouldn't be able to understand. But sometimes you walk in there and you just feel at home. You feel like your feet are right where they need to be. The cage feels comfortable. The lights feel the right temperature of warmth, and that's how it felt. And I think that's how it's going to feel on Saturday night. You know, it's wins and losses are going to happen. You're going to have good performances, bad performances, but I went 25 minutes with one of the best to ever do it at lightweight, a guy who finished Gaethje, finished Poirier. Yeah. First time he's ever gone to championship round. So there's a lot of things to take out of that, but just the general sense of the feeling that I felt, the confidence that I had, and yeah, I wasn't able to put together a win. There's some of those things were outside of my control inside there, so I'm excited to go out there and right the wrong on Saturday.
Is it possible for Paddy Pimblett to feel that same way, to feel like a veteran, to have those moments of clarity in there, considering that he's far more inexperienced than you are?
I don't think so, but that doesn't mean that he won't rise to the occasion. Yeah. You know, I've said it a couple times now. The presence of the absence of a strength of schedule like I've had doesn't mean that there's the presence of his weakness or he's a coward or he's not one of the tough guys in bright future. You can't say that he doesn't have it because he hasn't fought anybody yet. Well, because he hasn't fought anybody yet. You know, not that he hasn't fought anybody yet, but he hasn't fought the top guys yet. This is his first opportunity to fight the top guys. So we'll see how he responds. Does he sink? Does he swim? And then also I've got some questions to be answered too. Who is Michael Chandler? How good is he still? Does he still have it? So it's there's a lot at stake on Saturday night, and there's only been a couple times in my UFC run now that I've had my back up against the wall. That was my UFC debut when I had to prove who I was, and then on a 2-fight losing streak after when I got lined up against Tony Ferguson, and something spectacular happened that night. So I think this kind of feels like one of those moments. I just had a baby daughter who was born a few days ago.
Oh, congratulations.
Thank you. And right before the Tony Ferguson fight, my son Ace was born. So my son, Hap, and my wife will be in attendance, and both of those were crazy big-time knockouts, backflips, promos. So I feel like that just feels like what's going to happen on Saturday night.
Do you feel the pressure? Do you feel like your back is up against the wall right now?
I mean, a little bit. It's the first time I fought a guy who's not ranked as high as me, you know, except for when I was coming into the UFC. Well, I guess I was coming into the UFC. I had an opportunity to fight a top 5 guy, except for when I fought Tony Ferguson. I was ranked number 5. He was ranked number 7. So now I'm number 7, and Paddy's number 12. But it's my obligation and my opportunity to show that there's levels to this, and not that Paddy doesn't have a bright future, not that Paddy's not a great dude, and doesn't train hard, but I just believe in myself and the calling of my life.
You're a brilliant student of the game, Michael. How do you tactically break down the style of fighter that Paddy is? What impresses you about him, and what weaknesses, if any, do you spot?
The most impressive thing about him is he believes in himself, and that is probably the most important thing in mixed martial arts. Whether he's got great striking, great grappling, great cardio, that stuff is actually second to the actual self-belief of the man inside the octagon. He does believe in himself. With that being said, he comes out, he throws big punches. He's not afraid to engage in a firefight. He's not afraid to come forward. He's not afraid to take a shot, to land a shot. He's pretty good on the ground. He's got some submissions. There's no doubt, I think, after we exchange a couple big punching exchanges, he's going to want to take the fight to the ground, because I don't think he's going to want to stand with me. But we'll see how it goes.
Well, because he's got bird hands.
He's got bird hands, man. But Scousers don't get knocked out apparently. So I'm going to put his name to the test.
Well, I'm not going to mention Darren Till, but I mean, I don't know that necessarily holds up. But you're an All-American wrestler, Michael, and he insists, though, that if you do take the fight to the floor, that you might encounter some problems. How do you respond to that?
Yeah, I mean, you're fighting guys in the UFC. You might encounter some problems at all times. Everybody's dangerous. But with that being said, I mean, I've got great training partners. I train with BJJ black belts, Dagestani, Russian Sambo champions, Division I wrestlers, national champions. I train with a ton of great grapplers at my training camp in Florida. So we'll see. I'm not going to say I'm not worried about his submissions. You're never going to a fight not worried about something. You got to be cognizant of it. You got to be aware of it, and you got to go ahead and fight as hard as you can.
Well, we can't wait to see you in action. It's great to see you active once again. I mean, you did mention all the time away and the time that you spent on The Ultimate Fighter. To see you make Conor McGregor as wanting to run for president, what was your reaction when you saw that?
He's got my vote. We'll see. I mean, you never know with Conor, man. Obviously, he is passionate about his country. You got to give him that. He is passionate about the things that are ailing Ireland, just like the things, I'm passionate about the things that are ailing my country.
Sure.
With that being said, you never know with Conor. Is it a publicity stunt? Is it a marketing ploy? Is it just a way to stay in the headlines? You never know. All I know is, if he still fights, his road goes through me. If he doesn't, I wish him well, and I'll help him on the campaign trail.
Well, class as always. Michael Chandler, thanks for your time.